What's up, space pirates? This is your captain, the ever-charming Dr. Disaster. And you know, for as much as we have been laughing at the puny player base of Dustborn, I am sad to say that in a way, the joke is on many of us, because it turns out that we paid for it.
I'm sad now.
Yeah, it makes me very sad to hear that pathetic failure of a game, Dustborn, was apparently partially funded by taxpayers in the United States. That's right, folks. The next time one of these corporate ass-kissers tries to argue that, no, there's no such thing as propaganda in games, that's just you making it political, you can politely, or impolitely for all I care, reference this article from Niche Gamer, where they show us that the US government invested in counter-disinformation in video games. It seems that between the EU and the US, these governments have funded Dustborn. They are just as clueless as video game studios when it comes to overestimating the size of the modern audience. Because, as it turns out, based on the number of people who actually bought and played this turd, their actual audience is no audience.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Where did everybody go?
Alright, me hearties, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter, where I keep a list of games lousy with wokeness pinned to my account at all times for your reference. My handle on the platform is Dr. Disaster 1. But anyhow, Dustborn has been rightly described as the wokest game of all time, filled with hyper-politicized content that seems to be a commentary on modern US politics. Now, the other day, I talked about how stupid it was that Red Thread Games, a Norwegian game developer, would make a game like this, commenting on United States culture. After all, who the hell are they to take a stance on someone else's culture? Well, it makes a lot more sense now when we learn that the US frickin' government is the one funding their game. It's pretty disheartening that my own government is funding propaganda that calls free thinkers ists and phobes and all that other stupid shit that basically has no meaning any longer because it's been wildly overused. I will say, though, that it isn't surprising that this was funded by my government, since these days, anything these jackasses do turns to shit. That helps to explain how this game basically turned into a parody of itself and has managed less than 100 concurrent players on Steam at any one time. But here's the story from Niche Gamer. We're going to read through it. The article says, citizens have discovered that the United States government is investing hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, in what they are calling counter-disinformation games. That's so nice, isn't it? That's so wonderful to hear. But who, I wonder, gets to decide what is disinformation and what is real? These people like to twist shit around on the regular, don't they? For example, in our cultural spaces here, when we give negative reviews of woke games and movies, they call it disingenuous review bombing. But all the critics who line up to kiss corporate ass, those people are stunning and brave. Meanwhile, when we praise something like Black Myth Wukong or Stellar Blade, something that isn't woke, they call it positive review bombing. And the critics who hate on those games are once again called stunning and brave. So, as it turns out, anytime that we say something, it's bad. And anytime the corporate critic class says something, it's good. So no, I'm not cool with my government getting involved in so-called counter disinformation because of games like this. Games like Dustborn. The real irony is that they talk about a fear of the US government getting fascistic. In the game, that's one of the major themes, but this is truly a case of them raging on behalf of the machine. For as edgy as they want to make themselves seem, they are funded by governments, major governments, and they are not edgy. They are the machine. But continuing on, according to a funding opportunity from the U.S. Department of State, $275,000 US were earmarked by the U.S. Embassy in the Netherlands for a pitch meeting these specifications. Produce an English and Dutch language pilot version of a counter-disinformation game, produce a French version of the game, produce one additional translation into a European, Asian, and/or African language to be determined at a later date, host the game on the company's own servers, develop and implement data collection and analysis methodologies to demonstrate the project's achievement of expected results, promote games to target audiences. And that, of course, means the modern audience. But these jackasses just don't understand. There aren't enough of these modern audience types who actually play video games to make any kind of difference in the world. And actual gamers, people like you and I who don't care about this political shit and we just want to be entertained and be taken out of reality for just a little while, we wouldn't touch this shit like Dustborn with a 10-foot pole. All we do is mock this garbage mercilessly. So what the hell was the point of this game, other than to launder money to people that they ideologically agree with? Now, this funding opportunity, which I will leave a link to in the description, it does not explicitly state that Dustborn was being funded with this, but come on. It absolutely meets the criteria, and it's the only game that makes sense. This funding opportunity letter was drafted in 2021, right when this game would have been in the thick of its development, and it's obvious where the money went. And as a taxpayer, I'm pretty pissed about it. I involuntarily pay thousands of dollars every year after I work my ass off. Most days, I get up and work from sun up to sun down between my main job and my YouTube gig. How dare they take my money and use it on something to insinuate that I am some kind of an evil force? This pathetic game is a mockery of me. So when these journalists whine about how we're being mean, dancing on the failures of these woke games, remember that they started this shit. They are the ones mocking us with this crap. So mock them back and don't feel a bit bad about it. But I'm gonna leave it there. Drop some of that mockery of Dustborn in the comment section below, and we will talk there.
Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.